All right, so we are in the midst of one of the most pivotal moments before the elections that the media is not really covering. And so I want to talk today about what Trump just mentioned, what he said on Truth, as well as a quick clip of a press conference, and then just some commentary, because what's happening with California, with the elections, and people can kind of brush over it and say, oh, whatever. But this is absolutely huge for the future of democracy, for this country, and for just everything else going forward. So let's get into it. All right, so President Trump tweeted this on Truth Social. He said, watch California. Everybody, our election process is as bad or worse than any third world country. The biggest difference is they count their votes much faster. They don't wait 7 days to tell you who won, rigging the election during each and every one of them. Americans are ashamed of what is happening, President Donald J. Trump. And so this can be looked at as, oh, it's nagging. It's just, like same old stuff, whatever. But you have to look at this objectively. Many of us have talked about 2020. We've talked about this whole process of the steal and the fraud that is going on. And so President Trump is giving attention to this right now. Now let's listen to a couple of quick clips from a recent press conference.
Here's another one. Then you have no mail-in ballots, but we want to be liberal, as they say, or we'll say we want to be progressive. So it's no mail-in ballots. You see that's what's happening in California. They're rigging the election. Now, maybe we caught them, and maybe they won't be able to get away with it. They tried with me. They did it successfully the second time. The third time, we made it too big to rig. Too many votes. They couldn't do it. They can only go. They sort of gave up at about 9:07 when they got slaughtered with the votes that came in. But no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. So we're being very progressive. And we just don't want cheating in our elections. And you see it happening in California. Those numbers are coming down rapidly. They found a lot of mail-in ballots last night, shockingly. So we don't want that. Then we added best of. This is best of Trump.
Remember, you have to pay attention to what he's saying objectively. So listen to what he says a little bit later.
The machine gun on the front. The ships don't even really deal with them. They're like a gnat, that's all they have. It's crazy. This country needs a fair press. And one thing I think that's done is expose how corrupt our media is. And I really do, while we're here, I hope the media looks at this election that's taking place in California, where they think it'll take 7 or 8 days to count the votes. Can you believe this? I mean, they spend all that money on the machines, the big voting machines. They think it's going to be 7 or 8 days before we know who won the election. But the numbers are looking strange because without any vote counting, the numbers dropped very precipitously for two Republicans that are doing well, that had been doing well. And I hope you're all watching it, because I'm watching it very closely.
Remember, he's telling people, watch California, watch the election. He's looking at it, and he's hoping that the media would also cover it. C3 says here that Spencer Pratt, who was a LA mayor candidate, the Republican candidate, got 0 out of 24,000 votes in a late night LA ballot drop. 0 out of 24,000. A guy getting around 30% support got 0 out of 24,000. Astronomically small probability of this happening. Impossible. California no longer even hides it. Doors need to be kicked in. Now, when Trump mentioned this, watch California, everybody went crazy, because that ties to Q Post 2621, where he said back in 2018, when somebody, an anon, asked, will voter fraud in California ever be brought to light? And Q says, yes, watch California was deliberate. Q. And by that, he means back on April of 2018, a little bit earlier, this Q Post 1197. Another anon asks, will election fraud be revealed soon? And Q says, yes, midterms are safe. Watch California. Q. So we are at that point right now. Midterms are coming up. A lot of attention, especially alternative media, is on California right now. Dumb Old Dad had some good commentary. He says that last night's election in California exposed many of the democratic and deep state operations of elections. Please keep in mind that federal government does not have any jurisdiction over these elections. In an effort for California to not tip off their scam, they have to continue to run under the guise of plausible deniability. Allow the results to be close, but put your person installed ahead. Case in point is the mayoral race. In an effort to establish that Los Angeles citizens truly want Karen Bass as the mayor, despite the popular vote and momentum with Spencer Pratt, they could not allow their cheating system to eliminate Pratt. The backlash would create questions and investigations to reveal their true cheating system. They let him live another day to put him away in the fall. The same applies to Hilton for the governorship. However, this is the true trap that has been set. The fall elections do not fall under state and local. They fall under federal. The governor and mayoral races are down ballots. And since it is the federal midterms, voting must comply with federal law and oversight. The system of ballot harvesting, illegal immigrant voting, tampered and outdated voter rosters will not come under federal oversight for this election. Since the ballots for mail-in must have a barcode for USPS, then it will create less opportunity for California deep state and ballot corrupt organizations will now be under the watchful eye of the federal government. Trump is sandbagging the voter ID executive order. He is wanting the Save America Act to pass, but closer to the election. If passed, he can reinforce voter ID and citizenship at the voting precincts, allow blockchain technology to follow mail-in ballot harvesting, and then find illegals or NGOs that are complicit in illegal voting and go after elected officials that tamper individual votes in state voter registrations. Midterms are safe. Watch California. And remember, what President Trump recently tweeted was also about passing the Save America Act. What is that? He says, I'd like to thank our great Senator Lindsey Graham for putting up the Save America Act for a vote today. It states that all voters must show photo ID identification. 2, all voters must show proof of citizenship. Number 3, no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. And number 4, no men and women's sports. Number 5, no transgender mutilization surgery for our children. This Tuesday, June 9th, all Republicans in South Carolina should vote for Lindsey Graham. He has my complete and total endorsement and will not let you down. Now, this is key here. All of the voting aspects of this bill. And remember, yesterday, President Trump tweeted this. There's big cheating by the Democrats in California. I mentioned this the other day in the video. But look at this word, big is capitalized. And Paul has this commentary, big is capitalized. That word is capitalized quite a few times in the drops. But these two stuck out for the most for this decode. In drop 937Q says, we are winning big. That same drop also says, trust the plan, which the Department of War posted just the other day. Seems like a confirmation from POTUS on the DOW post hitting the trust the plan drops. Doubtly interesting considering the timing of Pulte just being named acting DNI and the fact that Pulte himself has also posted trust the plan as well as multiple other nods to Q. In drop 1903, we see Q say within the next 21 days, big things are going to take place. This seems to line up with the overwhelming feeling within the movement that something big is about to happen. But what I find even more interesting and teetering precariously close to a Q proof is that the word cheating is only mentioned once in the entirety of the drops. And wouldn't you know it, that very drop just so happens to discuss elections taking longer than a day and asks if cheating can be done after the polls are closed, which is exactly what is happening right now in California. Probably another coincidence or military precision. The choice will be yours and yours alone. Now, again, this was his post, and then winning big here is capitalized in 937, and then the next 21 days here in post 2903, big happenings are going to take place. And then that Department of War truth that I also mentioned the other day, and then post 4960 here saying, can cheating be done after the polls are closed? I read this also the other day. Observing Consciousness says this, California becomes the election fraud template. The numbers are looking strange, is quoting President Trump, and 7 or 8 days to count the votes marks the controlled public unveiling of a system built on delayed tabulation, mass mail-in manipulation risk, ballot flooding, and statistical fog designed to fracture trust at national scale. Watch the template spread state to state as the country is forced to confront the architecture of election narrative management head on. And then he has this template here for outlining, but here mass, mail-in dependency, ballot harvest and collection, ballot flooding, delayed tabulation, black box machines, statistical volatility, narrative control. This is how the template for fraud happens. So again, a lot more is going on in the media and people are going to try to hide it or skew it or explain it away. But as Trump and the White Hats, many more independent journalists bring attention to this and you see some of the shenanigans and all of that play out in real time, we're going to see something happen. We're going to see hopefully that Save America Act bill being passed and we're going to see other things happen. This is military precision. Something's happening behind closed doors. It's helping the Americans, the world, quite frankly, to wake up, to think for themselves and figure things out as they research. And so I'm also a part of that, and a lot of you guys are doing that as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, if you guys want to help me with everything I'm doing, especially my ministry, all that information is down below in the givesendgo.com link in the description. Also have PayPal, Zelle, Venmo. Love you guys. More to come. Talk to you guys very soon.